58-year-old Frank Athen Walls will be the 19th man to be executed in Florida. Frank's execution date is 12/18/2025 by lethal injection at the execution chamber located in Florida State Prison in Rayford, Florida. December 11, 2025, Frank Walls and his attorneys tried to get the Florida Supreme Court to stop his execution. The motion was denied. 2 days later, they went to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. They would also deny their motion. If Frank's attorneys can't get the court to give him a stay of execution, he will die 6 p.m., 12/18/2025. In Okaloosa County, Florida, a young man, Frank Walls, started his killing spree around 2 years, between 1985 and 1987. Frank Walls would be linked to at least 5 different murders. March 26, 1985, 19-year-old Tommy Lou Whiden would be sunbathing on Okaloosa Island. She would be alone. 17-year-old Frank Walls would get his knife. He would see Tommy laying on the ground. He would slash her throat. Frank would then steal Tommy's car and drive off with it. Tommy's body would be found later that day by someone walking their dog on the beach on Okaloosa Island. September 16, 1986, 24-year-old Cynthia Sue Condra, mother of 3 children, would be found stabbed to death 21 times, dumped in a wooded area near Lewis Turner Boulevard, located in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. Sometime between May 19th and then May 20th, 1987, Frank Walls would break into a trailer that was owned by 47-year-old Audrey Gigi. Investigators theorized that Frank Walls would rape Audrey, leave. He would then change his mind and come back, stab Audrey to death. Some of the items in her home was missing: a fan and a radio. Audrey would be found later that day by a co-worker from Caltech, and she would be reported missing after she didn't come to work. July 22nd, 1987, 22-year-old Edgar Alger. He was an airman stationed at Eglin Air Force Base. His 22-year-old girlfriend, Ann Louise Peterson, they both lived in a home at the Greenwood Mobile Home Park. The trailer was only a block away from where Audrey Gigi's home was. The couple was fast asleep. At 2 a.m., Frank Walls would break into the home, attack Edward and Ann while they slept. Frank Walls would shoot Edward 3 times and slash his throat. Ann would be shot 2 times. Both victims were naked when they were found. Frank stole some money from the couple, and then an hour after that, he bought some drinks at a strip club and partied there for the night. How did Frank Walls get arrested? His roommate would go to the local police station. He told police Frank was acting odd and stated Frank would always talk about killing people and raping them. Police would arrest Frank Walls a day later, at first for only 2 murders of Edward and Ann. Frank would be sentenced to death for Ann Peterson's murder, life in prison, with the possibility of parole after serving 25 years for Edward Alger's murder. A year after his conviction, police would test DNA left behind at the murder scene of Audrey Gigi. The DNA would link Frank Walls. To avoid trial and another possible death sentence, Frank Walls would plead no contest. He also admitted to murdering Tommy Whiden and Cynthia Condra.